Headline news most affecting Abbotsford this week. The Premier, David Eby, handing out Christmas presents to local MLAs. The Salvation Army in Abbotsford needs your help with their food and clothing drives. Maclure and Clearbrook, an intersection that is noted for accidents, will get a facelift. And there is a new executive director for the Abbotsford Community Foundation. Also, football glory for Robert Bateman High School. Josh will have more in sports. Our special guests this week include Don Armstrong with the Salvation Army. All right, Abbotsford, let's get started. Major changes on the provincial landscape that directly affect Abbotsford and Mission. Premier David Eby shook up the cabinet, the one that he inherited from John Horgan. Lana Popham is now out in agriculture and replaced by Abbotsford Mission MLA Pam Alexis, and the new parliamentary secretary for the arts and film, Bob Deeth of Maple Ridge Mission. And we hope to speak with both of them on next week's show. Salvation Army food banks and the Karen shares in Abbotsford and Chilliwack are in dire need this Christmas. Between the financial tough times and the continuing COVID conditions, things are beyond tough. Don Armstrong with the Salvation Army will join us in a few minutes to give us an update. As winter weather continues throughout the province, BC Transit is reminding customers, you might expect some delays, detours, or even cancellations when the road conditions become challenging. BC Transit also has an app that on your phone that they say is quite accurate. BC Transit's also encouraging customers to sign up for route-specific email notifications on their website. Following recent speed reductions on a large stretch of Maclure Road in Abbotsford, further changes are coming. A report to Abbotsford Council that came up on November the 28th is indicating that protected left turn phasing will be added at the intersection of Clearbrook and Maclure. As well, protective bollards. Those are those short posts that prevent traffic from entering an area that we usually clip. Well, they're going to be placed at that intersection. Now, it is one of the few high crash sites that the city is going to address with construction funding. That will happen in 2023. Areni Kalapapan has been selected as the new executive director for the Abbotsford Community Foundation. That is effective January the 2nd. Board Chair Marcus Jansen making that announcement, saying that she will replace the retiring executive director, Wendy Neufeld. Now, Neufeld is looking, quote, forward to retirement and the freedom of unstructured time. That's a nice way of saying doing nothing. Christmas Light Parade coming to Abbotsford this year. The Fraser Valley Off-Road Toy Run has joined a few organizers from last year's parade that was actually in Chilliwack to help spread joy, holiday spirit, and smiles throughout Abbotsford. It is a family-friendly event, and any and all types of vehicles are welcome. So, what drivers will do is that you meet on Sunday at 5:30 at the Fraser Valley Auto Mall, and then you head to Castle Fun Park. A reminder from Drive Smart BC, have you checked the vehicle's spare tire recently? Depending on your vehicle, you may have a full-size spare, you might have a temporary, or, oops, no spare at all. And do you have a small jack for any emergency? Now that the winter weather is set in, you are asked to check that spare, and you're supposed to carry a full-size tire. Hey, welcome to winter. Rockzilla, the second leg, is bringing Papa Roach, Falling in Reverse, Hollywood Undead, and Escape the Fate to the Abbotsford Centre. That is coming up Thursday, March the 2nd of the new year. It's an all-star night you don't want to miss. Tickets go on sale on Friday. Coming up in sports with Josh, football glory for Robert Bateman. News of the Week continues with Don Armstrong of the Salvation Army. We get together this time every year and we talk about having to pay the bills and having to help out at Christmas time. Both Chilliwack and Abbotsford, we're going to talk about those somewhat separately. First off, for Chilliwack, we are in dire need of money. We're in dire need of food, and the costs, you can't ignore those costs.
No, you can't ignore the costs. The costs are skyrocketing in the grocery stores, even going up more. So all we're saying to people now is, please help out as much as you possibly can. The Christmas kettles are out in all the locations. A lot of people, we got taps now at the location so they can go around there and give a tap.
Yep.
Always carry a toonie with you. That's what I do, is every time I walk by a kettle, because a lot of people go through past 3 or 4 kettles, and they're always saying that I just gave it the other one. We understand that. There's not a big deal to say I gave before. So, yeah, and the food is just slowly coming in right now.
Yeah, and you need dry goods, you need canned goods, you need, I guess, everything in this day and age.
Right now, we're in desperate need of everything. We're looking right now at close to 1,500 hampers going out at Christmas time. If you really figured it about it, we're looking at close to $100 a hamper. So we're in desperate need of all kinds of food, tinned food, which will last a lot longer. But the one item that we're really trying to do is fresh produce, carrots, apples, oranges, whatever we can get that way, which we use on a daily basis in both our soup kitchen and our food bank.
And we were talking about this off air, but the cost of fruit, and in particular apples, have gone through the roof. Is it just apples that you really need, or anything else in particular?
Well, any kind of fruit, even lettuce, celeries, any kind of fresh fruit, vegetable or fruit would be fantastic that the people can use on a daily basis.
We're talking about Christmas hampers, so that program is in both Abbotsford and Chilliwack, or just Chilliwack?
It's just Chilliwack for this one. Abbotsford does a smaller version of them. We do full families where they just do, they look after the single people.
Yeah. One other thing, and it came up in the news about, 2 weeks ago. So there's a little bit of confusion that, quote, Salvation Army Christmas kettles are not allowed to be at certain places, including liquor stores. Now that, I know you wanted to clarify that there was a change somehow that happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened, but through the process, the government, I guess, came back and said, yes, the Christmas kettles can be at the liquor stores again. So most of the places have liquor stores in. We're not going to in Chilliwack this year because we just feel that I would say the Salvation Army is trying to help the alcoholics. So we figure, why should we sit there and take their money?
Right.
So that's what we're trying to focus on. That people can give our money anywhere else.
One other thing too, and we of course, obviously at Christmas time we talk about the food. What about blankets and toques and clothing? We've already had our first blast of winter. Farmer's Almanac is saying expect another one. Shelters have already been packed up for both Abbotsford and Chilliwack. I would assume you're in dire need in not just both major markets, but throughout the entire Fraser Valley.
Yeah, because that's a very interesting question, because we just I think it was on Monday we ran out of toques and gloves that we've always had out front, where someone comes to the door and they just need a toque or a pair of gloves. We could just hand it to them. We're out of them. So those things in blankets we're always in need of.
Okay. And are there separate websites for Salvation Army in Abbotsford and Chilliwack, or is it just the one-stop shopping? I'm thinking of someone who wants to go online and get information.
Yeah, they're both different emails.
Okay.
And websites, yeah.
Okay, so just what, Google Salvation Army Abbey or Salvation Army
Absolutely, yeah, and they'll find it easy enough.
Yeah. And this time of the, well, every day of the year is busy for you, but this has got to be, this seem to be more stressful than in past Christmases?
Very much so this year around. It's like we're struggling for everything this year around. We've been doing the last couple of years, we've been doing Starfish, which is feeding the kids.
That's the backpacks?
That's the backpacks.
Yeah.
Used to start off with 200, now we're at 250.
Yeah.
And so everything is just growing and growing. On an average day now, we could say that the food bank, through our food bank, our shelter, our lunch meal, our pantry, we're almost close to 1,000 people a day.
One other thing too, and again, we talked about this off air and with costs, and you guys are incredible when it comes to stretching $1. But even that, what was it now? A can of soup was pennies, and now it's far more?
Yeah, we used to be able to buy a case of soup for $8 for 12 cans, and now it's $22.
So cash donations, please and thank you.
Yes, because right now we can hold our money and buy it when there's wholesale pricing. We can buy it that way, and we can get tons way cheaper. So we used to say for every dollar raised, we could buy $3 worth of food. Well, inflation has killed us too. So now it's every dollar we can buy is $2 worth of food.
Yeah. So if you can help out, and you're available on all sorts of social media, Facebook, website, and everything else.
Absolutely. They can find us anywhere.
Don Armstrong, I know you've got a ton of work to do. Thanks for spending some time with us.
Great time to be here. Thank you very much.
You're watching News of the Week.
How's it going, Abbotsford? Welcome back to sports. It's Josh here with you once again. This is what we do here. It's sports. Let's just jump into it. Christmas came a little early for Abbotsford's own Robert Bateman secondary Timberwolves this weekend as they finished off their unbeaten AAA senior varsity season in style with a convincing 45-14 win over John Barnsby to take their first ever AA provincial championship. Absolutely unbelievable. Bateman head coach David Mills, who was behind the bench for crushing championship defeats in both 2018 and 2021, was at a loss for words following the win. Quote, "This is unbelievable," he said with a massive grin on his face. "I knew we had a good team, and I saw it as possible last year after the overtime loss. There wasn't a day this season where someone didn't write 40-38 on our whiteboard." Well, David, I would say the motivation paid off. I guess the third time really is the charm. Congratulations once again. Sticking with football, the BC Community Football and the Valley Community Football League's first ever All-Valley Pro Bowl is this Saturday, December 10th at Chilliwack's Exhibition Stadium. Now, as we mentioned last week, they're running two divisions, Pee Wee and Junior Bantam, and teams are made up of kids from every community club in the Valley, with 120 kids playing in total. If you want to check out the games, they will be broadcast live on VBN Sports. Vancouver Canucks general manager Patrick Alvin announced that Canucks goalie Thatcher Demko has been placed on injury reserve, and red-hot Abbey Canucks defenseman Christian Wolainen has been recalled. Well, the big team might be turning a corner. They are dealing with the injury bug, as is customary, so you'll likely see more of the baby Canucks heading down the highway for some NHL action. Mason Boursier went 8 of 14 from 3 to help the Trinity Western Spartans pick up a 102-88 victory over the UFV Cascades men's basketball team on Saturday night. The win boosts TWU to 6-4 on the season, while UFV drops to 3-5. Now on the women's side, Nikki Kabuko hit a pair of free throws with just 4 seconds remaining on the clock to give the UFV Cascades a tight victory 67-65 over those same Trinity Western Spartans on Saturday night. The win surges the Cascades to 8-2 on the year, while TWU falls to a still very respectable 7-3. Both teams are now on Christmas break until the new year. The famed Harlem Globetrotters are returning to the Abbotsford Centre on Thursday, January the 26th. Now, it may be the same shtick they've been running since 1927, but let's be real, it never gets old watching them absolutely clown on the poor Washington Generals. Of course, some alumni did go on to the NBA, most notably Hall of Fame Laker center Wilt Chamberlain. Ever heard of him? It'll be a fun night, honestly, for children of all ages, so head to abbotsfordcentre.ca to pick up your tickets. Now that Hope has all that Rambo hoopla behind them, we can move on to the actual greatest event in Hope. Okay, the Rambo stuff isn't that bad. It's pretty fun. But let's talk about the New Year's Day polar bear swim at Kakwa Lake. The dip is scheduled for 11 a.m. on New Year's Day. And just to be clear, no, you don't have to jump in. You are more than welcome to come out, watch, and film other people making dumb decisions. So check that out on New Year's Day if you're interested. All right, that's all we've got for today. We're going to go to Cari with the weather. Have a great week, everyone.
abbyTV weekend weather with Cari Moore. Cari, we're going to get what we usually and are supposed to get in our winters?
Don, the only thing worse than winter rain is winter rain after it has snowed. This weekend's highs may get up to 4 degrees, with overnight lows on Sunday down to -1. If you didn't get your Christmas tree last weekend, dig out those rubber boots and put on an extra pair of socks, as it's going to be a mucky and cold day. Don?
Thanks, Cari. If you'd like to participate in reporting news in Abbotsford and you have a story you think we should know about, you can always send us a note to news@chilltv.ca. We'd love to hear from you. That's the news this week. I'm Don Lehn.